Hey, this is Nessyp of Nessyp Entertainment, and we have it's so awesome. I'm so excited, you guys. I really am. I have with me tonight Miss Paula Michelle. Paula, how are you today?
I'm well. Thank you for asking. How are you feeling?
I'm doing okay. I'm much better now because I get a chance to see you again, so I'm all excited. So, Paula, you are a business owner. And
Mhm.
so I'd like to have you tell me a little bit about your business, what the name of it is, and just kind of give us an oversight of what's going on with you.
Sure. So my business name is PG Artistry LLC, and essentially we are all about using art to bring about self-care experiences. So it's everything from writing and painting classes. We do both group sessions and private therapeutic sessions. We also have artistic-based products about self-care. So poetry books. I'm currently working on a few other books as well. We have artwork. We have affirmational journals. A few things. But it's also important that we give back. So our writing classes, we have both private classes and community affordable classes. We partner with a few different organizations around Richmond to be able to provide some writing workshops. And I say it's cheaper than therapy, so I tell everybody to jump on board.
Wow. So, Paula, tell me, how did you come up with this?
So art has been a huge part of my life forever. I've always been writing since as long as I can remember. People in the city know me as a spoken word artist. I've been performing poetry and spoken word for a long time. But a couple years ago, in 2015, tragedy struck when my son passed away. And during that time, I just had a hard time really doing anything artistic. It was really difficult to do any art when you're in such a place of grief. But I really found that the only thing that worked for me was just to kind of write it out. I couldn't really talk to anyone about it. And so after going through that process myself and meeting other people who were dealing with grief from child loss or any other type of loss, I realized that I needed to share what I had been doing for myself. And so I had been teaching writing workshops for a while, but I kind of changed my gear and focus to self care,
Mhm.
to focus on self. So I currently teach two classes, one called Write Yourself True, which is all about being brutally honest with yourself. And the other one is called Lessons in Love, which is all about learning how to love again.
Wow. When you say brutally honest with yourself, some people may have a hard time really understanding that. So, could you just kind of enlighten us as what that means to
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, so it is difficult. And when people come to my class, I kind of warn them up front. I'm like, it is as many times as I teach this class, it never gets even easier for me. So I know it's going to be difficult for them. But essentially, a lot of people have trauma, pain, life stories, things they just never talk about. And there's something magical about the pen and paper. It sort of feels like you're talking to someone, even though you're not talking to anyone, being
Mhm.
able to write the words out. And so we find ourselves being absolutely truthful, undeniably truthful. And what I tell a lot of my students is that once you put it on paper, you can't deny the fact that you've said it, you've admitted it to yourself. Now you can start the journey of the self care and doing the work. And that's kind of the first step is admitting it to yourself. Most people find out that they lie to themselves more than they like to think. And so this class is all about is really being truthful with yourself, and even if that truth is ugly.
Wow, that's really interesting. So, Paula, tell me what inspires you? What keeps you going?
So life inspires me, and I know that sounds really cliche, but after the loss of my son, the thing I had to recognize and the brutal honesty I had within myself is that I am still alive. That's the one thing I kept saying every day. I was like, even though this thing is painful, even though it's tough, I am still alive, and I owe it to the life that my son had to live my very best life. And so even when things get difficult and tough, I found myself just reminding myself to, you're still here, you have a purpose. And everything I do, I dedicate it to his name and in his honor. And I'm just inspired by that. I'm also inspired by my big seven family. I got five brothers, I got a bunch of nephews and nieces, a lot of cousins and uncles. There's always a party. I'm inspired by my spouse. He's a beautiful person. And just art in general. Anything from the braids in your hair to the color of your couch will inspire me, and by tomorrow I would have wrote a whole poem about it.
I'm going to hold you to that, Miss Paula. I'm going to see. We're going to have you come back at another point and work on that point. How did you come up with the name for your business?
So PG are my initials, and I actually have a blog that goes by a different name, and so my blog, lack of better, was I kind of wanted that to be the name of the business for a while, but I realized it was going to be a little bit limiting to what I do. And on any given day, like if you were to look at my office, it is just a throw up of art, music, and expression. And so I couldn't be limited to the fact that I write, and I couldn't be limited to the painting, and I couldn't be limited to the music. So the reality is that PG, me, I do artistry, and so that's where it came
Wow, that is so awesome. So, what's your favorite part about being a business owner?
The money. No, I am thankful that to be able to make money off the business for sure. And of course, the long term goal is to be able to do this full time and really just let this be my passion. My boyfriend and I talk about the fact that he's a comedian, I'm an artist. We just want to, get in the RV and travel the world and do art. Like that's the long term goal. But really, being able to help people, I think the absolute best part is when someone comes up to me after a show or after a class and says, you opened my eyes, that really changed my life. And then they follow up and say, I've been putting into practice this principle you taught me, or because of you, I now share my own story. There's nothing better than knowing that I was able to give to people what it is that I wanted to.
That is so awesome. That is so awesome. So, if you knew someone, like you said, people come and ask you different questions about things that you've said or things that you've done, what advice would you give to a new entrepreneur that's starting out their business? Because I'm quite sure that that took a lot of work in order for you to get everything started. So, what
Yeah.
advice would you give
The advice that I would give would really be to believe in yourself and take the risk. And again, I know those kind of sound cliche, but I feel like a lot of people fail because they just don't believe that they are worth it. They don't believe they have the talent to. They start thinking about everybody else who can do what I can do better. And as a writer, I face that all day long. If I send my writing into someone, they're judging me against, thousands and thousands of even hundreds of thousands of other writers. But I can't not submit because I'm afraid of what someone's going to think about my writing style. Even if I fail, I learn from the failure. And so my advice to them would be one, believe in yourself, trust that you are doing what you are meant to do, that you have a purpose, and then take risks. Anything from quitting the job and focusing full time to
them?
investing in something huge. I know me, I was always afraid of investing in the big product because I'm going to spend $500 and then make no money. I was terrified of that. But you have to make that investment in yourself. You only got one life, you got to live it.
That is awesome. So, Paula, if someone wanted to reach out to you, oh, wait, before I ask you that question, when all of your writing, is there a book out there or in
So
your
there,
head?
yeah, there are two books that are out there and then two that I'm working on. So the two
Okay.
books that are out there are Under, which is a book of all poetry, and essentially it's inspired by the theme of being under the weather or being under construction. And then the very first book was called Parables and the Gold-Plated Things, and
Mhm.
it's a combination of poetry and short stories. These are both chapbook styles from my performing art days in the slam world. Um, and so both of those books are available on my website. And right now I am working on two books. One is a sort of a self-care book about really just being the baddest bee you can be. It's really finding confidence in yourself. I felt like for a long time I was not allowed to be the bad bee because I'm a black fluffy girl. And then one day I just was like, I'm cute. Ain't nobody tell me nothing. And then my second book is currently untitled, but it's going to be a book of short stories, and it's a combination of the Black human experience mixed with some sci-fi and adventure.
Wow. So how did you come up with, okay, the first two books are done, but the
Mhm.
next two books, the books that you are working on currently, how did you come up with the ideas? Because they just seem a little different than the first two that you wrote.
I mean, it is me all day long. Like when I tell you that you can come in the house one day and I'm playing the ukulele, the next day I'm painting a picture, and then the day after that I'm in the garden. I realized that people are always saying, stay in your lane, stay in your lane. And I just can't. Like, I am all over the place. Anything I'm interested in, I have to give it a shot. I want to at least see. And I'm okay with saying maybe I shouldn't do this, but I have to try it first. And so with these two new books, it was two of those sort of adventures where it was something I was passionate in, something I was interested in, and I was like, I'm going to give it a shot. And I believe in myself, so I'm confident I can do them.
You are such an inspiration. This is so cool. I love this. I love this. Okay, so Paula, if we wanted to reach out to you, um, maybe to look at some of your artwork or read some of your works other than your books, to just have a conversation with you, how would we reach you?
So my blog has everything on it. The blog is www.lackofbetter.com. And essentially the blog title is For Lack of Better Words. And you'll see everything from my daily articles. I post about whatever I'm feeling, everything from how to get the job interview to how to get the man. All of that is on there. There's also a page for the calendar in which you'll see what upcoming events I have.
Mhm.
For example, the classes I teach with Life in 10 Minutes are there. I'm doing the writers panel for James and the Writers tomorrow. All of that information is on there. The store is on there. The about me, the how to get in contact with me, everything is
That is so awesome. Well, Paula, you definitely have to come back.
there. Oh,
Because
thank
I'm
you.
really curious as to how this second book is going to go and how you're advancing because I just see big things. I just see
Oh, thank
really
you.
big things, and that's so awesome. So I do appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. And again, I really want you to come back. You are more than welcome to be here with NCP Entertainment at
I
any time.
can't wait. Thank you. Thank you. When the book comes out, you'll get the first interview. How about that?
Oh, do I get an autograph copy?
Oh, autograph copy too.
There
Yes.
you go. I love it. Okay, Paula, thank you again.
Thank you. Bye.
This has been Nessyp of Nessyp Entertainment. Back to you in the studio.